Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We back, nigga. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of In the Mind of Dame. It is that boy Dame back to you guys again with another episode. Man, we back, we back. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a good week. Another hump day upon us, but we good, man. Man, this is episode 9, so we almost to episode 10, bruh. 10 episodes is crazy for real, once we get there. I feel like I gotta do something crazy for it, but I don't got no plans for it. But, man, hope everybody's having a good week so far, man. Hope everybody's doing well. I know we got a winter snowstorm coming up this weekend, so hope everybody's packing up on y'all goods, man, making sure y'all get y'all some salt, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? The other day, bruh, I think it was like Monday, bro, I left out the house and dead ass, I didn't even notice, bro. Like, yeah, it was Monday. I left out the house on Monday, bro, and I guess it had, a little snow, a little ice the night before. Yo, I fell and busted my ass, young. And we got a Ring camera, so like, my parents was about to leave, so I had called them. I was like, hey, yo, watch the step, yo. Like, that step is slippery as fuck. And they were like, well, how you know? I was like, nigga, I just busted my ass. So they were like, for real? You good? I'm like, yeah, bro. I had a backpack on, so it caught my fall. So I guess they looked at the Ring camera. Bro, they called me like, yo, are you okay? Like, we really thought you damn near busted your head wide open. I'm like, I'm good, bro. But, like, we got to sort the step. Like, because that shit is dangerous. Yeah, bro. But I'm good, y'all. I'm good. But, no, that shit looked wild, bro. It looked wild. It felt wild. I haven't fell from ice in a long time, bro. It's been a good minute, bro. I can't even hold you, because most of the time, I got pretty quick reflexes, so I can kind of catch myself. I did not catch myself, bro. I busted my ass on that step, but it's all good though. So winter storm coming up, man. Like I said, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not too mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would give me time to catch up on some shows. I haven't even finished Stranger Things yet. I might, start the His and Hers joint, because I have been bullshitting on shows this year, bro. I haven't watched no new shows like that. Like, I'm behind on WWE. I haven't watched His and Hers yet. I haven't even finished Stranger Things yet. So I've been bullshitting on the shows. I've been kind of caught up on the movies. I went to see Dead Man's Wire last weekend, which was a good one. It was a good movie. It was more a documentary feel, where it was kind of like a dramatization, but I feel like that joint was jolly entertaining. The acting was really good in there. The comedic relief wasn't bad. So definitely, that's a cool little recommendation if you into it. It's about a dude who basically, he was dealing with this mortgage company or whatever, and basically they finessed him. So he takes like one of the sons hostage or whatever, until they basically like give him an apology and right their wrongs, basically. So it was a good movie. It just follows him just holding the dude hostage or whatever. Crazy movie for sure. Like, I say about a 7 out of 10. And if you guys are into it, I have never seen it, any of them, but I heard the new Bone Temple movie. I saw it on Letterboxd. It got some pretty good reviews. The homies said that it was pretty good. So that's another one if y'all want to go check that out. I'm supposed to be seeing Mercy tomorrow. I don't know much about it, but my man, he was just like, man, they saying this joint trash, low key. So I'm gonna check it out regardless, but I am a little nervous about it. But that's it, man. Quick little week recap, man, from me last week. Besides the Dead Man's Wire, celebrated my grandmother's 87th birthday. So, happy birthday, Nana. Love you very much, even though I know she's probably not listening. But it was a good time, man. We pulled up to her house. I haven't been to my grandmother's house in a minute. Pulled up to her house, ate with her. Just chopped it up with her. Had a good time celebrating her and everything. So it was a good time for sure, man. It's always good to spend time with family. I've been trying to do that a lot more, because sometimes I just be working so much sometimes, and I just be just on my own shit. I be just on my own shit, so I don't really be outside like that. But it has been nice, because as of recently, I do feel like I've been able to make it to more family events. Like, I was at Christmas and shit, so it's nice, man. So if there's anything I would tell y'all, bro, like, go spend time with your fam, bro, mom, grandma. You never know, bro. Like, life is crazy, shit be happening all the time, bro. So really enjoy the time you got with them. If you close, you know what I'm saying? I know not everybody close with their fan, but if you close with them, try to make some time to spend time with them. That's been a huge focus of me as of recently, was just trying to spend more time with them, and it was nice to do. What else? Starting a little bit of a tolerance break. I ain't gonna lie, probably be a little bit more open about it. Your boy been on the pack a little bit. I ain't finna cap, you know what I'm saying? I was going a little crazy with it, but I had to start my tolerance break. So I don't know if I sound different or not, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the time I'm recording these joints, I probably just got off of work. So I probably, you know what I'm saying, had a little something. So, maybe I might sound a little lazier when I'm recording or something, or I'll be just chilling. I really just be chilling, but, the ganja be helping. I ain't gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? Because my mind, the reason why sometimes, bro, is my mind is still sometimes in work mode, and I don't have much time to kind of transfer over into like just podcast, just chill, let's just have a conversation mode. So sometimes I be needing a little bit of some help. So gotta hit up old Mary, you know what I'm saying? But, I kind of was like, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, you know what I'm saying? Just chill, kind of get the natural senses back and everything like that. So I don't know how long it's gonna last, you know what I'm saying? I haven't really done a tea break in a while. I haven't done one in a while, so it's gonna be interesting. I probably don't think it's gonna last too long, because if that winter storm is as bad as it say it's gonna be, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have a little something in this crib. You know what I'm saying? It might not even be Miss Mary. I'm gonna probably have a little bit of that Stella. Have some Stella with me or something. Finish Stranger Things at his and hers and sip on some while I'm in the crib, bro. Cause that's a good amount of time. Cause we probably ain't gonna be able to leave the house, bro. So, tomorrow and Friday, I'm gonna just be picking up shit at work, just trying to stack up on whatever I need. Stack up on whatever I need to get for this weekend. Cause even work just kind of told us like, yeah, we already taking niggas off the schedule. So I'm like, hey, that's cool with me, bro. Like I didn't want to be on the schedule anyway. You don't gotta tell me twice, bro. You don't gotta tell me twice. But besides that, man, everything else been good, man. It's been a good week. I feel like I said, y'all know I've been talking a lot about just getting in the habit of shit. So, it's been working. Like I feel like for me, like I said, there's no better feeling than kind of closing out the day or kind of looking back at the week and saying, all right, we got to the gym that amount of time during the week. We got the episodes out. We posting content on TikTok. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, by the way. We are going up on TikTok, bro. I got a video on there, bro. That joint damn near at 8,000 views at the time I'm recording this joint, which is crazy. Like that's the most views I ever got on any piece of content ever. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Like it's really wild to me because the video is just me just recording me going to the Air and Space Museum and going to a bar right afterwards. And I was by myself the whole day. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Content creation is a very interesting thing. But nah, man, make sure to follow me on there. Like I said, I'm pretty supportive of people. Like I said, I love meeting new people on the internet, especially when there's people that are chill. You know what I'm saying? Like some people I go on there and I'm like, man, these people are really talented, whether it's people that's trying to promote their music or whether it's people that's just promoting whatever. It just shows you how many people out there are like super talented and just don't have the eyes on them. And now they have to kind of use, whether it's TikTok or IG Reels or YouTube Shorts, whatever they can kind of get their hands on to promote their stuff. And just and I try not to scroll as much, like, especially like I said, like last week I was on TikTok crazy. Like I was scrolling for hours. So I had to put the time limit on there too. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was kind of going crazy on there in terms of just scrolling, just because I was so interested in what people were doing and creating and shit like that. So it's just really interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like for me, my algorithm, it definitely is a lot more favorable because I don't be seeing a lot of bullshit on mine. It really just be just random people or whatever. So it's cool, man. It's cool to actually know. I feel like I'm actually seeing real fucking people, not just like people trying to sell me some shit. And I still get them. I still get an advertisement of, you like to record in the gym? Well, buy this thing from TikTok shop. I just be like, swipe. Like I'm not trying. I don't like when niggas try to sell me shit. But let's get into the show, man. I don't have many topics for today. I should have probably posted on IG or somewhere like, hey, I need topics for today. So I got like literally like maybe like 2 or 3 topics written down for today, because I kind of touched on some last week that maybe I might touch on a little bit more here. But yeah, I don't have many topics. So we're gonna try to wing it a little bit after the topics I do have. And if I can't wing it, you guys got a short episode this week. My fault. I got you next week. At least I recorded something. Let's get into it. So bet. So y'all know what I'm starting off with, bro. I've been talking about this album for probably the past 3 weeks, especially with all the music coming out in the singles and the rollout. ASAP Rocky, Don't Be Dumb is finally out, man. It's man, I can't wait to talk about it. This album is long awaited. 17 tracks, 52 minutes, and my thoughts on it. My first listen was very interesting, and I'm in a music group chat with some people. So shout out to y'all if y'all listening to the music group chat. And for me, the initial response from everybody in the chat was like, man, this thing is really good. Like, I'm enjoying it. It's fun or whatever. And I think for me, the main thing I think I always kind of talked about with it was just, damn, man, I really wonder, can he deliver on an album that has to come out for 8 years? So the first listen, I think it was going to be hard to convince any, especially me, that, okay, this was worth an 8-year wait. And I think what happened is just, I felt like lyrically, because he was gone for 8 years, I felt like, damn, maybe I thought he had more to say. Because I will admit, even though I do love this album, I did kind of feel like, damn, like, I'm not saying he didn't talk about nothing, because he definitely touched on some stuff. But I felt like there was so much more of an update I was expecting. Like, bro, you were gone for 8 years. You know what I'm saying? And it just did feel like, at least the first listen, it was kind of like, man, there's a lot of like topics or something that I guess I wish he would have touched on or whatever. But I think once I kind of got out of what I was wanting and or expecting, especially because it took 8 years for us to get the project, once I kind of got that out of my head and I'm just like, I'm going to just take this body of work for what it is, man, this album is so freaking good, man. It's really good. There's really not many misses on the track list for me. Like, the only song I would probably be like, not whatever, like, I'm kind of whatever about. Honestly, none of them. I really was kind of sitting here looking like, even the STFU, I think I probably would have came in here maybe the first 2 or 3 listens and said, man, I'm really not feeling that one. Just because it is kind of just loud. It's just raw, but it's a good song. Like, I actually grew to fuck with it. The energy in it, like, that's something that can be performed. The song that probably grew on me the most from first listen to now is Helicopter. I didn't dislike Helicopter first listen. I was just like, okay, this is just another single, whatever. And I kind of just threw it to wayside because, like, man, the album was kind of right around the corner. I cannot stop playing Helicopter. That cowbell just always hits at the right time in that song. The flow on there is crazy. I love the hook. Take my white tee all spinning like a helicopter. Like, man, that shit's gonna go crazy live. Stole Your Flow, I thought was a great one. There was a lot of discourse about ASAP Rocky and Drake, and oh my gosh, everybody got to diss Drake for clout. I didn't mind him dissing Drake. I mean, Drake gets a lot of shit off about people, and I mean, yeah, he gonna say his shit, bro. Like, he gonna talk his shit, and I feel like ASAP Rocky has every right to, respond. So, yeah, I was happy he did that. Stay Here for Life is probably the most surprising one I found myself liking a lot. Like, I really love that song because I'm not the biggest Brent Faiyaz guy. Surprise, surprise. I honestly just feel like, for me, I'm just not really like super impressed when I listen to him musically. I'm just like, he's cool. But that song right there to me is really good. Player is so fire. I feel like Player is what I feel like. Player is the growth ASAP Rocky is as a person, and he can only show it in the ASAP Rocky way, and I guess I was expecting him to show it a different way. Because on Player, he's kind of just saying, this is what P shit is now. Having one baby mama, that's player shit. Taking care of your kids, that's player shit. And it's a different, because I remember I was talking to my mans about it, and he was just like, you really feel like he grown? Like, you feel like he sound different because he was like, first I stole your flow, so I stole your bitch. That's growth. But I'm like, nah, there's moments on here where it's like, you can tell that he's really likes being a father. He's content with his one girl, being in a relationship. He seems happy. And I think a lot of people do, and I've seen people kind of critiquing that on Twitter, like, he didn't say anything. He just says he likes Rihanna and he loves his, like, he likes being with Rihanna and his bitch is bad. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a pretty far distinction of what this man used to say. You know what I'm saying? This man used to be fucking bitches, or at least talking about fucking girls like that on this song. So for him to kind of be like, hey, yo, I'm settled down, I'm at peace with it, I'm chilling, I'll take that. That is a bit of progress from the guy that was outside a decade ago. You know what I'm saying? This man is the same guy that wrote fucking Problems. You get what I'm saying? Like, so to hear him enjoy being a family man, that's growth to me. I just think it's funny seeing a lot of the rappers I grew up on, especially when I was in high school, the Kendricks, the Drakes, the Coles, A$AP Rocky, Big Sean. There's still a level of hearing them enjoy fatherhood, even if they all talk about it differently. Like, you can hear Kendrick's journey with fatherhood. It sounds different than how Rocky would describe it. I think they both enjoy it, but Rocky's going to say it like, yeah, man, I got one girl and fucking with one joint, man, that's player shit. Whereas Kendrick probably takes it a lot more personal, or will share his thoughts on it a lot more deeper, whereas A$AP Rocky going to do it his way, and I'm still going to appreciate it because that's why I love A$AP Rocky. So I think for me, what I hear in this album is just like, I think sonically and production wise, the production on the album is amazing. Like, I know this album has costed some money, you know what I mean? And just from the Tim Burton, the videos and the visuals for this album look absolutely crazy, and the production sounds amazing. Another great track, this was probably my favorite song, Stop Snitching. Holy shit, Sauce Walker on that song left Earth, like, dead ass. Like, whoever made the beat and Sauce Walker, A$AP sounded great too, but Sauce Walker left the earth, bro. Too many horses in here. They don't like ratching you, Scarfield. Like, bro, he went berserk. Truly went crazy. Another one, Robbery with Doechii. Man, Doechii's so good, bro. Doechii's so good. And I feel like this really be making me mad when these white fucking streamers be dissing her. Because, bro, she sounds crazy on here. Like, that whole song is crazy. Like, it's just like, you can picture a video for that song. The production, that jazz, bro. It's just like, just with you put an A$AP Rocky spin on it, that nigga, pretty Flocko Jody, so that nigga in there talking this designer shit. Man, it sounded great. Fish and Steak with Tyler, A$AP Rocky and Tyler, you can never go wrong. I thought SWAT Team was great. The End, I think, is another great song. Y'all know me, man. If you gonna speak something social and political on your joint, and I agree with it, most times than not, it's gonna sit right with me. But in terms of a rating, 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, after really sitting with it long enough, and I have cranked this album at least 5 times since it came out, and I even cranked it this morning from beginning to end. I will say that, yes, it's going to be hard to justify an 8-year wait for an album. But I mean, if I had to wait 8 years for an album, I mean, this is probably some of the best output I'm going to get, and I'm not mad at it. I think it was really well done. Sonically, I think it sounds great. I think flow-wise, he sounded great. Lyrically and content-wise, is it the greatest or is it the deepest thing in the world? No. But at the same time, I never really listened to A$AP Rocky for that anyway. I think I kind of put that expectation on him because I'm like, okay, well, he's a lot older. That was an 8-year gap. He's a lot older. Has children, is in a committed relationship. So I felt like maybe there was probably more for him to say. But I'm okay with it. I'm out of that phase of thinking that every rapper or artist has to talk about something. So that's why albums usually have to get more than one listen, because I easily could have been selfish and said, he didn't talk about nothing, I'm good with it. Nah, A$AP Rocky was a guy who I used to be like, it was Kendrick, like in terms of my favorite, it was Kendrick and literally A$AP Rocky. Quite literally. And I feel like sometimes, especially in the past 8 years where there was no A$AP Rocky music, it was a lot harder to be like, damn, like, why the hell did I used to have A$AP Rocky number 2? Now it's like, after getting this project, I 1000% used to see why I loved him so much, and while I still do. He just announced his tour. I am going to that tour. Maybe in Baltimore. I'm gonna try to make the show in Baltimore. That's ideal, even though I hate going to fucking Baltimore. I'm going to that concert no matter what. I'm not missing no concerts I want to go to this year. I missed a lot of concerts last year. I made it to the most important one, which was Kendrick. But this concert is a must. I definitely will be at the Don't Be Dumb tour. But shout out to Rocky, man. This was a really great album. I'm super duper excited for the tour, and I feel like the album was well worth the wait. So yeah, shout out to him. All right. Next topic I kind of touched on Kai Cenat last week in talking about, his hidden YouTube channel. But it feels like since I talked about it last pod, shit kind of just hit a right turn that I guess I wasn't expecting. Bruh basically has gotten a bunch of hate because a lot of people feel like what Kai is doing is performative with him reading, and there's a lot of criticism and critiques about his literacy and whether this is just a rebrand or him being performative and everything like that. And I guess to just kind of give my 2 cents on it is, who the fuck cares? Like I kind of talked about a lot last week, and my main thought process with it is just, I think Kai is very inspirational to the younger generation. Am I a fan of his content? Not really. I feel like it's more for kids younger than me. I'm a grown man, so that content really doesn't do much for me. But I can kind of start to see and understand that Kai has a lot of influence, and I feel like a lot of kids and teenagers, and even probably young adults, probably see something in him where they want to emulate it. Here's a dude that he has a creative mind, and he's going after it. And he's always been that way, even when he started streaming. So to see him actively taking steps to have a goal of, I want to read more so that I can speak better. Bro, that shit inspired me. And I'm a grown ass man. It's not like I can't read. I went to college, I got a degree. So obviously I have a lot more knowledge. I'm pretty studious. But even for me, I started to kind of look back and say, damn, but when is the last time I really pulled up a book? You know what I'm saying? Went to the bookstore or the library, got a book and read it. Not a textbook, a book. It had been a minute. And I had kind of low-key been on it a little bit even before he started making the videos. But I mean, I had The Alchemist, and I did not read it for just the sake of reading a book. I read it because I was kind of in a place in life where I was lost and maybe wanted some guidance or to hear a point of view that maybe would awaken something in my mind. And then I read The Alchemist, and in turn from reading The Alchemist, that's when I said, man, I kind of like reading books. You know what I'm saying? So I got to the next one, and then he was reading Atomic Habits. So I got it because I'm like, well, that seemed like a pretty good self-help book to check out. So I think even for me, so if Kai can inspire me, and whether it's performative, whether he's just doing it just so that he can say he did it to promote his clothing brand, I'm kind of out of that phase in my life of saying that whatever he does has to come from this perfect intention that you really are reading because you have a specific goal in mind, that you just want to speak better, or you want to become more well-read, or whatever it is. I'm just happy that somebody with his level of stature has a good message, because you could easily do bullshit with it. And The internet is just a dark place. Twitter is just. I had this thought in my mind earlier where I was just like, we're in the mind of Dane. I literally had this thought in my mind earlier where I was like, Twitter is like Yelp for society. It literally is Yelp for society. You can just leave a review on anything. And I do feel like that's why I started to always say, after a point in time, social media is the worst invention because everybody is unhappy. And I think we just feed into the negativity. And it's just a echo chamber of just negative point of views and criticisms that 95% of the time don't even be criticisms of things that are wanting to get better. They just be a nigga just hating. And I just feel like out of all the things we could hate on or talk about, the last thing I feel like we should have been really sitting there arguing about on the timeline is talking about the reporter not being a professional because she complimented the coach. And two, Kai's fucking reading. Like, bro, I don't think people understand how much influence and power. Power is probably the wrong word, but I think you could argue he does. How much influence Kai has that for him to even have a decent thing that he's doing that could lead to younger kids reading, because I think a lot of y'all know the literacy rates in America look like ass, that if Kai is reading and maybe it would inspire some 12-year-old to be like, maybe I should read a book. We got to take the W's where we can get them, because I really am starting to think it's not really much of a conspiracy theory. I think the world and the powers that be, they want us to be not well read. They want us to be illiterate so that they can kind of push whatever, because they know that they can feed whatever propaganda it is that they can give you. So if Kai is going to influence these kids to read, cool. I don't give a fuck if he's doing it just because it looks good for the clothing brand. I really don't give a fuck, because kids need to read. We all need to read. I really be appreciating. I follow this dude, and I probably don't think he even listens to the pod. I follow this dude named Matt. Matt is younger than me. I played football with him. But bro, this nigga be reading books, bro. He be reading books like shit. And he's always been like that. Like, he's so knowledgeable about black issues and shit, to the point I don't be jealous, but I'm like, damn, bro, like I should be more knowledgeable about what's going on, about the Black Panther movement, about Fred Hampton or whatever. So to me, I love seeing people read. I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird right now. I'm almost done. I bought at the top of the year, but I can't wait to go get my next book. Literally, I'm literally like looking on IKEA or whatever to go get a little bookshelf or whatever to start collecting books. Like I talked to my little brother about it. I'm like, bro, you should go get a book. Like we should be starting to read more, rather than being on TikTok and Twitter all day and YouTube and scrolling and shit. We should be reading a little bit. I just say, for me, I read a chapter a day. But that's kind of like how, rather than scrolling before I go to bed, I read a chapter. Like that's part of my habits that I make. So I'm not ever going to trip about that, because we have a lot of other issues and shit where people are using their platform to be a fucking right-wing grifter and say a bunch of bullshit that's going to get people fucking killed or displaced or mistreated. Kai's not doing that. And I really do think I really do believe that Kai has good intentions. I really do believe that. I think, yes, Kai is young and maybe not as knowledgeable about certain shit. And I do think that sometimes people be on his case about not being knowledgeable about this or that, and then having such a powerful voice in the culture. But you got to understand, I never looked at Kai and felt like he was ill-intentioned. And I think if he has a mission to want to read for his own personal development and wants to share that journey, whether you think that's performative or not, you could think that that's performative. But do we have to get online in front of all these people and say, this is performative, this is why he's da-da-da-da-da, and now you want to hit tweet? I listened to the Mallory Bros talked about it yesterday, and Terrence had a great point where he said, if you give people rocks, they gonna throw them bitches at you. And he's right. You know, it's very hard to be vulnerable and share on social media now, because it's not ever really met with much support. Or it could be met with support, but if you're big enough, that shit gonna come with some hate. Especially when you're talking about a nigga maybe struggling to read a little bit. Oh, niggas was cooking his ass. And I felt kind of bad because I'm like, damn, bro, like, we really kind of necking him because he wants to get better at reading. So that's why I say Twitter is just like a Yelp review for society. People are just leaving negative comments and reviews about shit, and certain shit does need to be left a negative review on. Like when we talking about ICE and shit, oh yeah, we should leave a negative review 1000%. When Trump is in there doing some bullshit, leave a negative review, bruh. But when we talking about somebody like Kai wanting to read and knowing that this could have a direct influence on the younger generation, we gotta kind of pick our battle and say, well, that's something that's good, and we should be applauding it and saying yes, support. Not saying performative. Because even if it's performative, y'all, the impact of it is such a net positive. It just seems like it's very hard to do that. And like I said, I just think we're just in a very hateful time. It just doesn't feel like there's much positivity kind of left. And I think that's why for me sometimes I be super friendly with people now. Like it feels like the world is missing kindness. It's missing benevolence. It really is missing shit that it just feel like it's gone now. You know what I'm saying? And the shit be fucking me up because it really be like that. Like, damn, like we really have lost just, I think, the human decency of being kind. And I told myself this even when I was kind of on the journey I've kind of been on, where I'm like kind of questioning a lot of shit, whether it's religion, whether it's the structure of society, and having my critiques about it and hating it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like for me, it's a always a step in the right direction in my brain chemistry to just be a positive person. Whether that's just smiling, whether it's knowing when to critique and when not to critique shit. You know what I'm saying? And applauding good shit. You know what I'm saying? So I applaud that. I really do applaud that young brother. Seriously. And I heard somebody on TikTok kind of say where she said, Kai is inspirational because you're watching him want to become something and you're seeing the work. And that shit should inspire anybody, for real. You know what I'm saying? That shit really should inspire somebody. Even if the nigga's struggling to read, that should be more inspirational. Here I am with a college degree and I ain't got shit. You know what I'm saying? And you talk about a nigga that's struggling to read or can't read that well, but he's accomplished all his dreams. Why? Because he wants to continue to get better and wants to develop. How can I be mad at that? But we just have a society as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's some groups out there that definitely be leading the hate, but it just feel like I just feel like sometimes we just pick the wrong battle to fight. You know what I mean? That Jacksonville Jaguar reporter shit really fucked me up because I'm like, yo, we really dying on it. Like reporters and all these people are really dying on this hill about journalistic integrity and professionalism. Like that shit's made up, bro. Like that shit is not real. Like that shit is a made up concept to do that. But kindness isn't. So I just like I said, I just applaud that young brother. You know what I'm saying? I wish that, you know, whatever goals Kai wants to accomplish, I hope he accomplishes them, bro, for real. All right, bet. Let's kind of get to the next one. Let's talk some football. Last weekend, we had the divisional round of the playoffs. We had the Bills versus the Patriots. We had the Rams and Bears instant classic game. Seahawks versus the Niners. And we had the Texans versus the Patriots. Let's start off with the Bills versus the Broncos. Pretty good game. I feel like the conversation I want to have about the divisional round kind of definitely lands in the Bills and Broncos game. Shout out to the Broncos. Unfortunately, you know, Bo Nix is out, so I'm not going to probably be picking them to make the Super Bowl. But Bo Nix got my respect. I mean, he went out there and he had a great game. He played super well. He beat Josh Allen. You know what I mean? And, you know, Josh Allen, I will consider myself somewhat of a Josh Allen fan. I don't have a personal beef with him, but I can understand why people aren't the biggest on Josh Allen. And I don't ever think that it's Josh Allen himself. I do think the media does portray Josh Allen a certain way that I think they don't really give other QBs. And let's just have the conversation. I do think, even as somebody who hates the Ravens, and I could care less, well, let me just preface by saying this. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's electrifying. I think he's a great player. If he was on the Steelers, I would say he's my favorite player of all time. But he plays for Baltimore, so I have no choice but to hate him. But I like Lamar. I do. Even as somebody who is never really rooting for Lamar like that in terms of team success or whatever, I have to admit the media does not give Lamar the same passes they give Josh Allen. And I really didn't used to think that as much, because I think a lot of people kind of pointed to last year's MVP and said Lamar was clearly better than Josh Allen. This was Lamar's MVP. I was kind of 50-50. I do think, yes, counting wise, play, I think Lamar did enough to win. But I always say this, MVPs, especially when you have multiple, and especially when you talk about multiple and consecutive, you're not only competing against the field, you're competing against yourself. And that's not to say that Lamar didn't outplay what he did the year prior. It was to kind of say that. But Josh Allen was kind of in the conversation where the narrative is kind of like, okay, we got Lamar already, like 2 or 3 of them joints. We can slide Josh Allen one. You could call it a sympathy MVP all you want. I also am just not going to hate on it, because I do think Josh Allen did play MVP level football. Like, he really did. And I will admit, I do think that Josh Allen gets way more of a pass in the media than Lamar Jackson does. I think even when we looked at last year's playoff loss for Lamar against the Bills, he had 2 interceptions, I think, but he could have won them the game. Mark Andrews dropped the ball. You get what I'm saying? And for a lot of people, there was kind of this idea like, well, Lamar shouldn't even been in that position. He had those 2 turnovers and everything like that. And both sides are right. But it does, I can kind of peep that the same energy wasn't for Josh Allen. For Josh Allen, a lot of people feel like the lack of roster talent really is the reason why the Bills lose or why he's had playoff defeats. And I think those could have worked in years past, but this year I can't give Josh Allen that pass. Yes, does he have the best roster around him? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? The wide receiver room ain't that hot. The defense is atrocious. But Josh Allen did not play a good football game. He did not play a good football game. And the reason why I say that, bro, that fumble right before halftime where he just threw the ball behind him, I was like, Josh, what the hell are you doing? That's not Josh Allen, bro. You get what I'm saying? That's not Josh Allen. So to kind of see that happen in the game like that, it's inexcusable to me. Josh Allen is too good. And I will admit, I am one of the people that do feel like, yeah, this was your easiest path to the Super Bowl. Because you had one kryptonite that everybody would have said, okay, you lose to Mahomes all the time. Cool, whatever. It's always Mahomes. He wasn't in the playoffs this year. So to me, it is kind of like, all right, bro, like you going up against the younger class of QBs. It do feel like, okay, you probably going to have to Superman Josh it, but that's not out of your wheelhouse. And he didn't do that this time. So he lost. And this loss is responsible for Josh Allen. He takes blame for this one. This will go down probably as one of his worst playoff losses in terms of performance and how much of the responsibility he should shoulder on that. Sean McDermott getting fired, I thought was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think I kind of do understand it, because they're just like, okay, we have a MVP quarterback. Why can't we get the job done? And somebody has to pay. Sean McDermott is going to be the one that kind of has to take the L for that one, just because of the fact. I think it goes down to 2 reasons. One, he hasn't got the job done. And 2, I think when you look at the coaching playing field, I think a lot of people are like, man, there's a lot of names still on the board in terms of coaches, that they feel like, okay, we can probably do a little bit better than Sean McDermott. I don't know which one that is for them. Maybe they want to kind of follow suit and let's go younger and let's get him, a young offensive coordinator, make him the head coach, and him and Josh Allen do magic. Or let's go get him Brian Flores. Let's go get him something better than Sean McDermott. I don't know how much better you're going to get than Sean McDermott, but I can understand the process of it. But I don't feel like Sean McDermott was the reason the Bills lost. I mean, 4 turnovers, your defense looks like shit. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. Texans versus the Patriots. That was a rough one to watch. Even for me, like, I wasn't like rooting against the Texans, even though they beat us. But I will say I had no dog in the fight. I know a lot of people are kind of like, man, the Patriots are kind of, they just had a dynasty and they're looking like they're going right back to the ball. They weren't even bad long enough. And I definitely can understand that. And I guess I didn't even really think about that until somebody brought it up. But the biggest takeaway from that game is just CJ Stroud did not look good, man. 4 interceptions, that in the first half, that's rough. And CJ Stroud is better than that. I don't know what's happened since his rookie year. I think we can kind of look around and see, outside of Nico Collins, he's not working with much. But you can't throw the ball to the other team 4 times. You know what I mean? And he didn't have that great of a game at Pittsburgh either. So they're definitely going to expect more out of CJ Stroud. I don't think that the conversation should be whether they should move on from CJ Stroud just yet. I definitely don't think that, because I just don't think that I seen what I seen his rookie year and just think that all of a sudden he just forgot how to play football. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's, offensive line issues. Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz didn't play. So, his number one receiver is like Christian Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot to be desired in terms of personnel for the Texans, but he has to be better than that. And, this is like, another divisional round loss for the Texans, or losing earlier on in the playoffs. I feel like this is a team that could have the talent to be, at least with the defensive side of the ball, at least a conference championship type team. But they're going to need CJ Stroud to play better, and they're going to need more playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. Patriots, they didn't play that well of a game either, but, that Texans defense is amazing. It's going to keep them in games. Seahawks and 49ers, not much to talk about on that one. Just the Seattle defense is just absolutely fantastic. And shout out to Sam Darnold. I think I talk about Sam Darnold a lot, whether it's to my friends who I talk football with or even on here. I am a Sam Darnold fan. I love his story of being a first overall pick and being with the Jets, struggling and then bouncing around and then kind of gaining more and more experience in the NFL, gaining more knowledge, more wisdom about the game. And now being in a position where you're on a team that trusts you, you have a fan base that's behind you. You give him a solid situation, a solid defense, weapons to work with, good offensive line. And now look, you know what I'm saying? Like, now look. So I just love the redemption story of Sam Darnold. And I think the best thing about this all is that I feel like, yes, the Vikings were in a tough situation. You have a first round QB who was hurt all last year, who you already had plans for. He gets hurt. You put Sam Darnold in. He super exceeds expectations. But then in 2 primetime must-win games, Sam Darnold plays horrible. You know what I mean? So you kind of feel like, oh, can Sam win the big game? The most inspiring thing about Sam now is that I feel like they're able to win games without him having to do too much. I think he had like an oblique injury or something like that. So he was already questionable to go. But the fact that they were able to dominate San Francisco, and, we got to acknowledge that San Francisco was super duper hurt. Just the fact that he can go in there and game manage, they're not expecting him to go out there and have to throw for 300 yards, I think really makes Seattle a dangerous team. And I think the fact that Sam is winning these games, the game against the Rams later in the season that got him the number 1 seed, these are the games that it's nice to see Sam win, because I feel like all it's going to do is just build his confidence to be like, okay, bet, I'm in these games a lot more often. They're not putting me in harm's way. They're kind of protecting him from himself, and they're winning games. And not only are they winning, they're dominating. So that's a scary sight. You know what I mean? And it's nice to see Sam leave one situation and go to another situation and be almost better. You know what I mean? Have a better record, give this team the best regular season they've had in their franchise's history. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's a clear indicator that Sam Darnold is a winning player. He comes to situations and can win. Now, granted, yes, the situations have a team around him, but that maybe is the way to do it. We can veteran QB our way up and build the rest of the team. And then when it's time for us to go get a guy who's younger and has maybe more talent, he's coming into a situation that's a lot more stable than us having a QB come in and then he's already in here with nothing, and now we're trying to build around him, because then you will never know if he's really good or not, because he's going to struggle, he's going to look like shit, and then next thing you know, you're going to be like, is this even really the guy? But he had nothing to work with. So it's nice to see Sam play well. And to the Niners, good season. It's unfortunate, all the injuries and stuff like that. I don't really think the injury bug gets much better next year. George Kittle's probably going to miss all of next year. But good season nonetheless. Nothing to be ashamed of. And Bears versus the Rams, I thought that was a great game. I don't talk much about Caleb Williams just because I just have no opinion about Caleb. I think he's a good football player in terms of, just playing, but he's confusing. He can throw the clutchest deep ball I've ever seen. But there's other times where I'm watching him, I'm just like, yo, he just misses certain throws that is way easier than, running backwards 30 yards and launching it to the end zone right on the money to Cole Kmet. You know what I mean? It's like, you can complete that one, but you can't complete a check down, or you know what I'm saying? It's just some wild shit. And, I never really bet against Matt Stafford, so I really wasn't surprised he got the job done. Matt Stafford is one of them ones. So, I just had no doubt in my mind. But to the conference championship picks, let's get it. Bears, what am I saying? Patriots versus Broncos. Patriots versus Broncos. Unfortunately, I am going to have to go to the Patriots on this one. I just think not going out there with Bo Nix, I'm not really too trusting of the backup QB situation over there. I'm going to go there. Patriots going back to the Super Bowl. And Rams versus the Seahawks. This is a tough one because I do like both quarterbacks. I love Matt Stafford. I love Sam Darnold. I don't know if I don't think Devontae has a ring. So, Devontae getting a ring, that would be nice. Puka getting one would be nice. Matt Stafford getting two. I think Matt Stafford getting 2 Super Bowls, that puts him in some conversations. You know what I mean? And I think it would be nice to see somebody like Matt Stafford be put in those conversations, especially because he kind of had such a time in Detroit, where those teams were just not so good. And, he was down there as like him and Calvin Johnson and Ndamukong Suh as like the 3 bright spots of the team, and everybody else kind of being super duper mid. So to see him come from what it was like for him in Detroit and go to LA and win 2 Super Bowls, that's pretty fire. You know what I mean? So who do I have more of a preference towards? Do I have more of a preference towards seeing Sam Darnold go to a Super Bowl after, the first couple years of his career looking the way it did? Or Matt Stafford? You know what I mean? This is a tough one. And having to look at it football analytically, what do I think about each one? My brain is telling me the Rams. My heart is telling me Seattle. Like, I don't really know who to pick. Screw it, man. I'm going to go to Rams. I feel like for me, I don't know how many years of Matt Stafford we're going to have left, because it does feel like each year it feels like we're starting to question a lot more. Like, how much has Matt Stafford got left in the tank? Like, it feels like we're starting to hear a lot more of that retirement conversation around Matt as the years go on, where, even it feels like the Rams are kind of more like, we're kind of planning for our post Matt Stafford days already. I'm like, damn, bro, like Matt Stafford has been in the NFL a good amount of time where it is kind of like, all right, how much more football of Matt Stafford are we gonna get, especially at such a high level, that it's like, you know what, I have enough faith in Seattle being able to get back into, I feel like Seattle's here to stay. You know what I mean? Darnold, JSN, that defense. I think a lot of that core is going to be there for a while, that even if they don't get it this year, a little bit of retooling or whatever they need, they can be right back in the same position next year. I really don't know how many more years of this Rams team, especially Puka was talking about retiring at 30, and Tay is already up there, Matt Stafford's up there, so it would be nice to see Matt Stafford get one more. So I'm gonna go with Matt Stafford on this one. I just think there's something telling me that this is his year. He's going out there, he's playing high level football. That's it for football talk. One last thing before we get out of here. Music recommendation of the week. I feel like he's going to be surprised I even picked him for this one, because I feel like it's very rare, I guess, I've done a music recommendation for my man's. But my man's Justin, JD, man, he just dropped a new song called Lost and Drowned. I think the song is great. It's a new sound for him, and I think it fits him really well. So go check it out, man, on YouTube, JD Who. On all streaming platforms, it's gonna be JD Who as well. I really think y'all should like that one, man. It's a good record. It's super fun. He has the clean version and the explicit. You know what I'm saying? So for even so, it's even for the kids, bro. It's even for the kids. But shout out to Justin, great record, man. Follow him on everything, man. I think he's a really talented artist, and I feel like it would be nice if he can get some more listens. If you go listen to it on YouTube or something, man, leave a comment saying that boy Dame sent you. But that's it for episode 9 of In the Mind of Dame, man. Please, please, please be sure to leave a like on wherever it is you're watching. Rate the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Rate the show. Help your boy get on the algorithm. Follow me on all social media platforms. It should be that XBoyXDame on all of them. Go read a book or something. That's my advice for the week. Go read a book. Prepare for this winter storm that's supposed to be like almost 18 inches of snow. Go cop your cases of water, man. If you need, go get your Mary Jane ahead of time if you need it, or go get some Stella. You know what I'm saying? Man, go get your goods, man. Go get your goods, because we might be trapped in the house this weekend. So, man, go have some fun in the crib, man. Go find you a little show to watch. Cuddle up with your thing or something, whatever. And I'll catch you guys next time, man. Peace.